Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm Zach with Ambition Amplified. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. She's a recording artist, model, beauty entrepreneur, creative director, and content creator who's built her own brand across multiple industries. Please give a warm welcome to Kay Bougie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm super excited. I love the movement and everything that you guys got going on. Artists need some light shined on them sometimes and community. So that's really dope.
Absolutely. Let's take it from the beginning. For people who may be discovering you for the first time, let us know a little bit about yourself and your journey.
For sure. So I go by Kate Bougie. I'm from Chicago. I'm a Latin artist, but I do some writing along with singing, rapping, etc., writing. But I do like more of like the beauty and like the creativeness that goes into like the full products. So with like the brand that you mentioned and like just like my modeling background, I think that it adds like a cool little twist and just like an extra oomph of like expression with like throughout different phases of like the arts and stuff.
Absolutely. I want to ask because you've worn so many different hats, you dabble in so many different fields, artist, entrepreneur, model, makeup artist. Which passion came first and how did that sort of originate?
I want to say probably music, and then as I got older, like doing my makeup was just something getting into like the girly thing. But I always liked like poetry and just like I feel like Disney, everybody's singing on Disney. They wanted to be like
Hmm.
a kid. So I feel like that was kind of like the goal. But and then I got into like fashion because I was always in the house. So when I had time to go outside, I was looking with my best fit on, taking pictures, all the content, and that kind of became its own hobby as well.
Hmm.
Uh, but photography in general, like film, I feel like that's always been a hobby. I would say like it makes me passionate, but it's like a hobby because it's like cool to see what I create through like expression of my passions. So it kind of like ties all.
Absolutely. Was there a specific moment where you realized that you wanted to build a career around your creativity or a specific, interest of yours?
Yeah, definitely. I would say like high school era, like realizing because I went to a STEM school and they wanted all of us to go to college, and I was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. Considered it, didn't really go because I'm like mid high school. I started getting clients and realizing, oh, this is a real thing. Like, although people, I feel like the older community or like in the past, they won't really say like an entrepreneurship can be a job in itself, but I think once you're passionate and keep persevering, you can. So starting from a young age, I seen like what it can do, so I went full throttle. And it's like wake up happy to do what you want to do is way better than waking up doing something that you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
I took that and ran with it.
Yeah. And that can be kind of like a brave step to make forward, especially coming from a STEM high school where there's probably a whole bunch of kids who are focused on kind of the same lane. To branch out of that must have taken a lot of courage.
Yeah, definitely. They were a little bit more strict on like even the schoolwork that came with trying to do like something diverse. So it was like interesting to see that
Absolutely.
we weren't like pushing the arts. So I think every high school should do that.
Who are some of your big inspirations growing up? Either that could be in the music industry, fashion, business, wherever you want to take it.
I would definitely say like my dad's like hardworking suit.
Okay.
Um, but I would say honestly, all like the it girls, like all of the it girls just combined of like just like confidence, like cutesy things, and just I would say like attitude, and attitude does come from like passion and just like personality. So like all the it girls was growing up like the icons. I have a few actually like over here. Got I thought she was because she dressed like her, but Anne Nicole, like Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
all those beautiful ladies. But yeah, and honestly, myself, I would say like growing up, like we always envisioned, oh, what would we be when we're older? And it was like, dang, like looking at like our dreams or our goals, it's like, hey, I want to be her. So it's kind of like keeping that dream or like that self-built confidence. I feel like that was always like my inspiration as well.
Gotcha. We actually have a question from the chat from Carlos. He says, "Has your community you had around you when you started a passion, a motivation, or a challenge for you?"
It was both. I feel like living in Chicago with like the culture, you have like people that are like all here for it, and then people that are like in reality where they're like, no, like the fast life is like not
Yeah.
reality, or like really, or even just judging it like from like the outside and not really seeing like the passion that comes behind it. They see the glitz, the glam. They don't really see like the sweat and the tears. So it's kind of like people will always have something to say as long as you give them something, to talk about, I guess, you know what I'm saying, good or bad in their perspective. But no, it's definitely been challenging. I feel like with it being in the city too, there is so much going on and everything is like fluctuating. So it's kind of keeping your head on a swivel, and then also keeping like your backbone and like your goal in mind, keeping everything tunnel vision focused. Because man, you can definitely get off track
Yeah.
with like
A little bit more about your namesake and your brand.
yeah.
The name K Bougie is a recognizable like tone to it. How did you come up with that? What's the story behind it?
It's actually kind of funny. My dad called me bougie, or started calling me bougie, because growing up I didn't want to take the bus to school,
Mm.
like public transportation. I just thought like, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Like having to be on their schedule, catch the bus on their time, just like being around all type of different people, I was just not feeling it. So he's like, "Oh, girl, you're bougie," and so I already like, cause my first name is a bit like complicated to people. My name is Kalissa, so I just cut it short with the K,
Mhm.
and then added the bougie at the end. And I'm actually 25% Polish too. So Polish, bougie in Polish means kiss. So like the whole
Oh,
the kiss emoji up there, and like
oh yeah.
bougie, and it's like the brand, because I thought it would be cute for the makeup. And then people will think like bougie is like high maintenance and all this extraness, but it actually means like luxurious and lifestyle, yet humble in character. So I thought that like spoke volume and was like overall just fit well.
Yeah,
So
that's a great answer. That packs a lot into it. You have like a childhood story. You have
yeah,
like ties to your lineage, ties to your culture, and then yeah, like the definition. That works perfectly.
yeah.
When did you realize that you weren't just building a personal brand, but an actual business?
Um, Honestly, when I realized I was doing more than like the service that I was doing, like makeup, like I was actually like pouring into people. I was actually like, building community, learning about different things while meeting all these people. I knew that it was like bigger than me and myself. And also like the ladies that I would come across, like in the business journey, they would always, wonder what my steps look like, or wonder questions, or just to be around like girls in that field, like the pink collar girls. Shout out to y'all, because we really wear a hefty hat, because man, running a business in the girly industry is in its own book. But um, yeah, with the music and like the makeup and the media, I felt like it all just went under one roof for me in how I'm creating. And that also ties into like being with other people beyond me, whether that's like having a photographer at my studio that can also like create with me, make the visions come to life, other beauty industry ladies. So it's like a one-stop shop where we're all shining our light on, our talents, and then also like beautifying the ladies, and then because it's all girl shop as well. So like,
Hmm.
pretty hustlers pushing that movement, so that the bougie boulevard can go the furthest for everybody's wants and needs, of just getting cutesy. So that's where that kind of tied in.
Hmm. What's one thing that people misunderstand about being an entrepreneur or building a brand online?
Mm, Maybe sometimes that people have lives too, especially from like a small business. Like
Yeah.
everybody has like expectations. Of course, like you want to have like great business, whether that's communication or available times to be like in person, on just there for your business. And I feel like people forget that there is usually like one person behind all of these different hats, that they don't give it a break, or they don't understand certain policies. Um, I feel like becoming like a new mom, like it was great to see like the girlies were open armed to like the motherhoods, but sometimes some people aren't always open to different changes, or you know, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a hard hat to wear when um, it's like that's. I feel like it's minimal. Another hard part, I don't know, man. It just gets hard juggling. I would say like the personal life, the business life, especially on social media. I feel like that's the thing, because it's like, yeah, you want to give your best and business hat here, but then it's like, dang, I'm a human, so it's like I'm running through the both. But finding a balance between that is also, I feel like, the part of the journey of like perfecting your craft and perfecting the business and seeing what works efficiently for everybody.
Absolutely, I can understand that. Another question from Carlos. He says, does your mixed identity play a massive role in the art you make, or do you relate to one culture more than the other?"
Mm, I would definitely say I relate to one. Probably not intended, but I was raised in Humboldt Park with, some Puerto Ricans, and I'm Puerto Rican as well. And just my upbringing, a lot more of my family spoke Spanish versus Polish, or just the music they would play around me, and just the vibes, the food, everything. Um, and I don't think I grew up with a lot of Polish people. So that's another thing. I didn't have like so many cousins, but yeah, I would definitely say um, the Latin side for sure. I'm pretty sure that Polish people got some cool music too, though.
Hmm. Let's touch a little bit more on your influence into the beauty industry. You created your own product line. What inspired you to launch your beauty brand?
Honestly, just I feel like COVID was like a obvious try not to be there in person, but also still make sure that everything else is flowing.
Hmm.
I started that a long time ago, just based off of like natural products and having a lot of the products that I did use for my business, whether that was lashes for clients, lip glosses here and there, to always have them in hand. And if I was buying in bulk, then I'd rather, be able to produce in bulk. Um, so I kind of like that. And then also just kind of creating on that sense too, where it's like, okay, I enjoy using these products. I would make my own like hair cream um, and like scrubs. So anything that I personally felt like I had needed to have my hands on product wise, or felt like some products in the industry needed a little bit more of this but less of that, like I was kind of like curating my own and kind of putting that out there for the girlies, because I do like promote a little bit more natural and like the holistic type of products, just because you want to like heal internal so that um, the beauty shines from without all that extra nonsense that's killing us slowly.
Hmm. What would you say is one of your proudest moments as a beauty entrepreneur, or being in this space?
um I would say one of my proudest moments, I've recently had a Valentine's Day girl pop up, and one of the guests realized, like, dang, like we need more events like this with women that are trying to connect, women that are not always in like whether the nightlife scenery or just like the chill soft girl vibes, like people willing to just try new things, like almost like a solo date and meet somebody. So that was kind of cool because we did take like me and my team at the studio, we took a risk like throwing the event kind of last minute, but it was very rewarding to see like all of our hard work and teamwork come together for somebody else on the outside to enjoy the event and like see the vision we have with the community, bringing everybody in and just vibing with each other.
Absolutely. For someone who is looking to start their own beauty brand, or I guess maybe something in general, entrepreneur tips, what advice would you give them?
I would definitely say know yourself. I feel like every time I consult with somebody trying to do like brand development, or even I was chopping it up with my mom the other day. She's starting a like body contouring, and I'm like, with your business and with your brand, like you tend to always work 24/7 in your mind. At least I do. So you want to be thinking about something like you want your brand to represent you, because with small business, like people pick you to connect with you on a either personal level, they like your aesthetic, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like showing that to the people while also being yourself makes it so much easier to create, so much easier to brand like a slogan that actually means something closer to you. So it's kind of gonna push that and reflect that passion. I would say definitely know you, what you're doing it for, have some reason behind it. I feel like because sometimes there's always gonna be like a slip up. Sometimes you're gonna have bad days, but it's just kind of like you need that thought or something like really heavy on your chest that's gonna remind you like, hey, I'm doing it for this reason. I really like this because it makes me happy, and just making sure what you do is making you happy. I would say
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I think that's the right idea. Just keep kind of say not tunnel vision, but always have the in the back of your mind the main goal. And there's going to be tough times across the process, but like you said, it's worth it.
Yes, always.
Okay, let's switch over to your music journey. How did your journey as an artist begin, and how did you enter into that field?
I was always writing poems, and then I would get into writing just like little songs. And what actually really made it like on the board, on the soundboard, like on the track, I was again at school.
Mhm.
It was a STEM school, so they did have like audio engineering. So I chose that one, and to actually hear everything that in my mind or like in my own melody came together, like actually laid out where I can edit it and visually see that. I felt like that was go time. Like I always liked the culture. I always liked the personality behind performing like poetry and just like your whole presence. So I feel like adding that into rap, it was kind of almost like, dang, I have my personality already. I have my art, my words, you know what I'm saying, my emotions. So it's like, okay, kind of just like shifting that, branding that into one person and just like putting that on somebody's speaker is like mind blowing. I feel like music can make you sad, happy, run slow, run fast. So it's like kind of like contributing to that like energy wave. Like that was really dope. Hearing myself back, that's when it was go time. And then I had friends that did music, so we were all just like at first I would say bullshitting, kind of like figuring out the sound, but then it got serious. Like we rolled our sleeves up and we are like, yeah, this is it.
Mhm.
So shout out to my homies that are in the music industry. We definitely had long nights of just figuring out what sounds best, deleting old stuff, sleeping on the new stuff. But at the end of the day, post that content because what you're sleeping on with the content, it needs to be out there. Don't stay up late thinking about if you should post it or not. Definitely post the content.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at right now is like posting the content. But I definitely have something this week for these people. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, though, I think that it can be difficult for young songwriters to just have the confidence to release even something that they've
yeah,
early on in their career. But I was interviewing another artist about a week ago, and he just said like he's been working on music for a few years, and he said, well, he's grateful that he made the first couple of songs because it eventually he can look back on it and see how far he's come. And so does, but he also enjoys some of the moments that he's made releasing those first songs. So, like you said, I think it's a
yeah.
great component, and it's like very much worth it to release it.
I definitely agree. I have some songs with a homie that passed away, and it's like always something great to look at. Like those were the vibes that was in the air, just kind of creating, staying positive. Um, but yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like to see the jump of growth and to also pat yourself in the back because if I listen to some of my like older songs, I'm like, wow, I am like learning something here. I am
Mhm.
getting this. So yeah, it's definitely a like a nice like milestone too, where it's like you get to see the past and the present, the journey for real.
Absolutely. One more question from Carlos. He says, "What were some of the songs or poems that sparked your younger self's interest in music?"
That's good. Let's see. Um, I would do a lot of like the car like challenges. And when I realized that I was actually able to like jump on somebody else's beat, jump on like almost like a prompt in a sense,
Hmm.
uh, I feel like that was really cool. I think it was like it's like a very famous like instrumental, and I can't think of it, but I felt like that was like a like almost like a challenge back then. So like, okay, take this prompt and like make it my own. I felt like that's really what sprung with that.
Hmm.
But as far as like poems, I feel like poems are kind of more like spoken word for me now. Like I don't really make them into songs. Like when I was younger, I would make them more like into songs or kind of like that. But then I feel like I developed my poetry like completely different, more so like just a spoken word where
Hmm.
it's kind of talking my feelings. It might not even make sense. It might not have like a cadence or anything. So
But it's like authentic though, and that makes it special.
yeah, I feel like that as well too. Kind of like made me think of the different switch ups in my bars, in my writing, because it's kind of like a lot in poetry. They don't have to rhyme or they don't have to stay on melody. So it
Hmm.
kind of like stretched that for me, where it's like, okay, I can sound like this at this part, but as long as in the end or like the full thing kind of like comes together, that's what you have to go for. Whether you're storytelling, whether you're kind of like um, adding some jokes in there, just like the personality and like how you're presenting it, it just all like ties in together. So I feel like that's where I kind of like found the fun with it rather than like the seriousness. Because when I first thought to like, okay, let me try to properly write music or it's like an outline, I was like, oh, like this is actually kind of harder in my head thinking like, oh no, I have to think about what the hook is going to be. I have to think about what the cadence is going to be instead of kind of just like taking it and running with it. I felt like that kind of took away from that part but added to the creativity.
Yeah, 100%. How would you describe your sound, or how would you describe your music in a few words to someone who's never heard it before or wants to check you out?
For sure. I would definitely say diverse as I'm like still releasing and still finding like exactly what I guess genre. I would start by saying like my voice is I would definitely say like dominant and almost like playful but exaggerated.
Hmm.
Like with my like references in music are just kind of like being a little bit more like alpha female. Like I do have like some sad songs too, so kind of like relating those things of like what my feelings were like. I would say I'm very like detailed as to like my vocabulary and like adding words together where kind of you would have to actually understand like I know the words or understand what I'm saying because some of it can be a little mind twisting, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I would say definitely that, and like you can tell that I am from like the city versus more like so suburbs.
Hmm. Yeah, my next question kind of ties into what you were alluding to. How much of your songwriting or just overall final product of a song comes from personal experiences, emotions, stories? How much of an element is that?
You said how much is what?
How much of a component is that in your songs?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like because that's what stems the emotions. It's like once you start stemming the emotions, or when you're like in real life, or even observating. I feel like I wrote a song before observating one of my friends and one of her relationships. So it was kind of like taking that moment in time, and what is it like the four W's: what, where, why, how. Like thinking of those reasons really details like the writing and kind of like putting people in that perspective because that's what music is. It's kind of like giving something to relate to or like express to release to. So it's kind of like you kind of want to pinpoint that audience. But yeah, definitely spiraling the emotions and kind of like reliving that situation. I feel like music is real, like really from the soul. So it's like you got to feel that or have those like emotions in you at the time, whether they're happy. Same thing with like your when you're recording, like if you're sick, it's gonna sound different. If you're happy, it's gonna sound different rather than if you're irritated. So I feel like kind of putting all those emotions into the bigger picture is almost kind of like acting in a sense where it's like you kind of gotta get in the mode to produce this feeling or this production.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Legendary record producer Clive Davis recently passed away. And I want to ask you a question. If you were to sit down with someone like him or someone very accomplished like him in his field in the music industry, what's one question that you would want to ask?
Hmm, that's a great question. Um, Dang, that's a great question. I would say like almost asking like his surroundings because people always say like, oh, like how did you do it, or what made you keep going? Like, I feel like it's also like who was there throughout the way. Like, I would
Hmm.
ask, hey, like, what did you keep around you? What did you kind of just knowing, like, was this like helping your tree? Was this like I want to know like what he kept around him. Was it family? Was it people that were on the same page? Was it somebody that just um, brought him like joy and motivation, happiness? So I would ask that, because I can say, oh, how did you do it? But we got different hands of cards, and things like that. But kind of like, what company did they keep? Because I feel like sometimes that can get a little tricky too. Of like, oh, maybe I should just keep people around me that do the same things as me. But then it's like, I don't know. You might get, I mean, might get bored or might want to
Yeah.
have some opposite opinions. So kind of just the company he kept, like, while being so, I would say, because people like that are so different, because they are bringing something different, they have to move different, practice different, like set aside differently. So I feel like understanding which group or people are like positively on the same wavelength as you and understand and believe in your goals, I feel like so it's kind of like what people he would keep around him and why.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting question, and probably one that he would like appreciate because it's kind of like you wouldn't necessarily be thinking that, and I think that's a thoughtful question.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk more about like the construction process that you go through of making a song. Um, if your creative process, do you usually start with your lyrics, your melodies, or like a concept of a song? What's kind of the process with that?
I've been playing back and forth. Like if I hear a beat, I'll try to create something off that. Like if it's like in my vibe, and again, if I'm vibing, then the melody and the words come after. Sometimes I do have like sessions where I'm more. I feel like when I'm more sad and write my more sad songs, it stems from like that poetry. So I'm like putting pen to paper, and then I'm finding a beat that complements, or I'm having like paragraphs of just different like hooks or paragraphs of different like melodies.
Hmm.
Um, or honestly just like vent. I call them like vent sentences. Like I'll say like, oh, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling, and I'll pull a couple together that kind of are in the same, I guess, like vibe of song. Like I'll pull those together, and then I'll like piece it together with um, like a hook. I'll piece it together with a bridge. So I don't know. I'm kind of like wacky when it comes to writing music, because I can write a hook 1 month and then finish it in 1 day. The next day of just like singing, or like I'll debate if I'm gonna be singing the entire time or if I'm gonna try to rap the entire time or combine it. I feel like I sometimes mainly start writing just off of emotion, or off of, oh, I think this sounds cool, or oh, I think this is expressing how I'm feeling lately. Then I'll start it, and then I'll start to find a beat that matches with it, so it can kind of like guide the bridge and guide like the rest of the song. So yeah, I would say mainly between all that chaos that I just said, I would say mainly starting with like a cool hook or like a
Hmm.
cool little thing, and then finding a song that I feel like complements, finding a beat that complements it to package it all together.
Yeah. Um, creating your own song can be very difficult. What would you say is one of the most challenging, or like what's the hardest part of finalizing your song?
For me, because I do like to creative direct, I do like to package and present everything like with promo, with videos, and just also like attire. Like when it comes to makeup, hair, everything, it's like
Hmm.
building a character, I'm building an emotion. Um, so I would say the visual, because it's easier to make yourself sound or make something fully sound away by layering things versus trying something to get something directly out of your head visually, especially with a certain budget, especially with certain areas, or just things tangible to help. So I would say doing that and slowly learning like the business behind it, to make sure that you're producing and pushing your project that you spent all this work on, to feed it to the right people, to make sure that everybody's seeing it, to make sure you're presenting it the way that you want, so that you're also not getting fucked over. Like imagine you get a hit and it's like, dang, like my art, my sweet soul into this song, and you didn't align it the right way. So that's always nice as well because yeah, it's an art, but at the same time, it also is a business. So when you get a good balance of those two, then the fruits are sweet. So I feel like that's pretty dope.
Uh-huh.
With that part, learning as you go, and also just trying the best you can to put it in front of people that deserve to see it and will relate to it.
Uh-huh. A few people that I've interviewed before have mentioned songwriting comes with its difficulties, obviously writer's block. Is that something that you have uh been through, and how do you push through that?
Yeah, that's definitely what I was relating to with like separating artist life and having a human life,
Uh-huh.
because to also find the time to sit down and dedicate, your feelings to be on paper to even understand your feelings. Some people don't even have time to understand their feelings, but to actually like understand them, shape them, and paint them a certain way where, it's beautiful, it's art, and it's also expressive, and relating to your like situations or shoot, it don't even gotta be sad. I would say accomplishments, just painting that picture as such. Um, I feel like that is time consuming. And if you're not in the right headspace throughout the week, throughout the day, like you can completely forget. That's why I mentioned like I'll start writing a song 1 month and finish it in a day and just procrastinate because I feel as some days I don't have the right like turn off where I can turn off thousands of things that I'm listening to over here and really focus on producing the best. And how to get over that, honestly, understanding and reminding myself that it's a journey that everybody has these on and off days. So it's kind of just finding the medium and actually producing in the medium too, where people can understand and relate to um, the hardship of it or, the learning, the alchemy part of it. So
Uh-huh.
I would say definitely balance. Just trying to balance it because it gets a lot, especially when you're like passionate. It's like you want to like nitpick a lot of different things, so it gets very it's a long process.
Yeah, absolutely. And to tie in the music section of our interview, is there an overall message, Carlos says in the chat, is there an overall message you want to send in your music, or is your music an extension of your emotions you want to express in a creative outlet?
That's a good question. I would say a mixture of both. I guess I'm so indecisive because I do want to send a message where even just with like the beauty, like pretty hustler shit, like being confident, even just bougie in a sense, like luxury and lifestyle and humble and character. Like, yeah, you can have nice things, you can talk very, like boastfully, but if you're not like a good person, if you're not humble at the same time, understanding that, we are all equal, just having a very well heart, um, it doesn't matter what you got on. It don't matter what you smelling like. It don't matter what, who you're around, what you wearing, what you driving, all that. It does not matter if, what you are sitting on it or sleeping, whatever keeps you up at night ain't sitting right.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the message for sure. And also just showing the journey too, where in the beginning, like some of my songs will make me cringe, and then also like growing with that. I feel like it's like a reflection of my life in teenage years, growing up, even becoming a mother, like just different seasons and just being able to present that because the people that, fuck with me. So it's like they coming from the OG days, even better because we relate on a different time. I feel like the girls that get it. But man, yeah, definitely that message, and also kind of just remembering to stay confident even through the bullshit too. Like
Yeah.
talk about like the bullshit, the real shit, or things that get in my way, but also just remembering to like never drop your chin, keep your head high. Um, yeah, because fake it till you make it if you need to, but definitely don't drop the crown.
Uh-huh.
In that part. Because
Yep.
it goes from sad to drilling, sad to talking shit. Like it's all over the place with the music. So it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be a sad girl, have a sad girl era as long as that sad girl is popping shit right after for sure.
Yeah. I want to touch on a little bit of your content creation side
Mhm.
aspect. Do you not necessarily feel pressure, but your is creating content sort of always on your mind for your business and your music career? And does that sometimes hijack where you want to be creative elsewhere?
Yeah, it definitely does. I love to create. I love to create content, but it's also a balance of trying to find a good medium to post for the makeup, to post for the music, to also separate my entities in a sense, more so like business oriented and then more so art oriented. Just that they see me as a musical artist and understand that, but then the business side of like the beauty and industry. And yeah, sometimes they cross over when I'm like creating for myself. Um, but yeah, the off seasons of music, then I'm full force for makeup. It does take a little switch um, currently, right now, with just like the promo videos. But yeah, promo definitely gives me a headache of just procrastination, trying to be what I want to, show or like what I want to feed the consumers, making sure it's aligning with my goals. Then it's a whole lot of that for sure.
Yeah, and I want to add on to that, and you're sort of um, touching on this, but how do you stay authentic online? With all certain trends or certain ways to invoke responses, but how do you stay authentic and and still want to, come off as yourself?
Yeah, I mean the trends are cutesy, like the girls with the blush or learning out about like lashes, like cat eye, lift your eye, all different things that complement looks of yourself. I feel like what makes me want to stay me is yeah, I want to make myself beautiful if I learn a new trick or a new style, but also relating it back to things that I like. I feel like I never want to look specifically like one person, or I never specifically want to be put in a box, just because I don't know if that's like a Gemini thing that I have going on, but like when it comes to style, I switch it. When it comes to colors, I switch it. I feel like anything that I gravitate towards, whether it's like weird or not, like a chunky shoe or something, like I feel like I do what makes me happy, and that might be something completely different one day, and I kind of go with that. Not being afraid to try something new though, for sure. Um, because I like to dare to be different. Like if I see too much of one thing going on, I want to do the complete opposite.
Mhm.
Um, just to just to literally dare to be different and not be so concentrated on what's going on. But I feel like here going again talking about expression. But when you express yourself, you're kind of like being unique in your own way as well. Because that switches and changes every day. Keeping myself unique. I feel like I don't really have to think about that, or like I have a step by step, because yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody is just so different, but how you package yourself day of or express yourself day of is a lot. Because
Absolutely.
I don't always look this put together, or maybe I look more put together, but I feel like that's all just on like the vibes. But people keeping up with trends and like different things are kind of trying to like blend into a, I guess, what do they call it? Um, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Hmm. Like the usual, I guess to say, lack
Hmm.
of terms. Um, I feel like maybe they're just scared to try something new or try to be themselves or be accepted around. I feel like that's another thing, like people you keep around you, like, do you feel free to try something new? I feel like that's another thing. Even if you know you won't like it or something, just be open to trying something new. Um, I would say just don't stay too in one box, because something always came from somewhere. So we're always just like creating with it or being inspired by it, like taking different inspos and making it your own. So as long as you're making it your own, I feel like that's where it comes from. Wearing it with your own skin. I would say just remembering that you're dressing yourself, or you're taking tips that are gonna create this happiness in you. Like I don't know, like making this character of like your dream. Like if I dream to have pink hair one day, I'm gonna throw that wig on. Like I don't know, it might be different from like the girls or the guys. Or even like guys too, like they'll have like cool slangs or like haircuts, things that compliment them, but what makes them feel confident. So I feel like whatever makes you feel confident, I'll always put that first too.
Yeah, it's a great answer. Now we can touch on like some things more broad, and you can answer however you want with any one of your many fields. What's one of the biggest challenges that you've overcome in your career so far?
Mm, hmm Um, Learning to be like a people person and um, not being afraid to always like push my business and like actually like tell people what I do. Because at one point in time, I was just only media, media, media. That when I would be in person, I would be shy or not know how to take that first step to be like, oh, hey, I do this or I'm interested in this. Like, I see that you like these things. I would say I would like remind myself to in person also be promoting or um, things like that because it would just be like word of mouth. So anything in person, I was just more shy, especially starting younger. I don't know if I was just like timid to say I had a business or if people wouldn't take me serious without seeing like the hard copy work that I've done or seeing things like that. I would think that I don't know, they would think I was a joke or something, but realizing like, hey, like doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter if somebody is going to believe in your business or see your talent and your hard work, then they're going to gravitate towards you. And it's not bad to try. I feel like when you try something new or do something new, you only have stuff to gain. You only have lessons to learn, so you really can't lose anything. So I feel like that saying in my head all the time also made me just think like, okay, we could hit, but we won't miss. Like like there's no loss here. So
Hmm.
learn to be a people person in real life because I come across new faces every day doing makeup, literally super close. So just learning to make people feel comfortable around my presence, comfortable getting the service, comfortable being themselves. Um, because yeah, I feel like it's a very personal thing, or even just like with the music, comfortable being around me or comfortable understanding my vision, that we're on the same page. So kind of just connecting a little bit more with people to be like a people person so that our interactions go smoothly and the team builds great, the clients build great, people that are aligning. I feel like that makes the atmosphere easier. The days go by easier when you're around good vibes, good people.
Hmm. Absolutely. People you surround yourself, like you mentioned with the question to Clive Davis, I think it's a very underrated aspect of
Yeah.
your career so far. Okay. Um, we've talked about like how you measure sort of your early music to your most recent um, releases. How do you define success in just any field? How do you define success today compared to when you first started?
That's a good question. Um, when I first started, I would say success were all these things that I wanted because there was things that I haven't started to do or haven't seen or experienced. So success was just being like reaching all my goals, crushing them.
Hmm.
Um, whether that was even people saying that I wasn't able to do something, like doing something that I thought I wasn't able to do, just all these things like achieving that. I would say success though really is like now I feel like eternal joy. Like even if you don't do those things that those people thought of you, like just being content with today, that you're trying more than yesterday. But success, I would say, just stems from doing things that make you happy, learning something new, whether you tried something, getting yourself out of comfort zones. I feel like that's success because that always brings you something that either you didn't have, whether it's a lesson or something that that you needed to get away from, to learn, to push yourself to do. Um, Success doesn't always come with like a trophy. I feel like success can be like something small. Um, but yeah, I would say success is just like a good lifestyle, a routine, to do things with ease. Because, man, people would think like it's like wealth. I once heard that a rich man has a lot of money. I heard a wealthy man has a lot of money and time. So it's kind of just like, what do you see as value? So, yeah, I
Hmm.
feel, success is being who I'm supposed to be in that time. Um, and like, just fulfilling God's plan for me. Yeah, I feel like that's success.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, so now we'll jump into our looking ahead section where I'll ask a couple questions about where you see yourself in the future and where you see yourself taking your brand.
For sure.
First, question from the chat. Carlos says, "What's a goal you have for the end of the year?"
The goal I have for the end of the year, and it's about almost it's damn near the middle of the year. So
Hmm.
before the year ends, I definitely want to get another music project out the way. With the 9 months being kind of more so on writing block and just more so overseeing all the stuff that I have done and kind of just rebranding it or nitpicking what I do want to push out still. I definitely do want to take one of my on paper projects that I have and start producing it for a visual. And then as well for like the business, I definitely want to be just done renovating a studio, just refreshing the studio, bringing a new vibe, upgrading a little bit of things that I needed for like efficientness. But music wise, definitely getting another project out right before some New Year's. Yeah, because I have this one, getting all the work done in between. Yeah, that would be really nice. Also balancing the new Mamiana life, so that I feel like is a very realistic goal. And also getting on YouTube, definitely. It's just been a battle with the editing and technical difficulties. But once I get in the flow of posting the old content as well, because I was hiding my pregnancy for a little bit, so now I can get back on the backtrack of the YouTube editing. But YouTube has definitely been on my mind more so because I feel like it covers all of the different things that I have. Just more so taking people with me with the journey, being able to get like those timestamps for everything. I feel like
Hmm.
that sort of oversees everything, and I just love film. I love editing it as well. I feel like editing film is really nice, and being able to look back at a time and the whole photography thing, like light and also capturing a moment, it's great. I love it so bad. So definitely those couple of things for
Hmm.
sure. And getting in the gym,
Hmm.
actually staying consistent
Yeah,
as as
that's not
opposed,
easy. It's not easy, but you're
yeah,
right. Like that should be a goal for everybody.
for sure.
Um, Next up, where do you see yourself and your brand 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I definitely see the salon expanding. Um, I would say I don't know if that's like storefront or just also just growing from the like warehouse building where I would like store and make products, but I would definitely say 5 years. Um, I'm thinking like child wise, it's so funny. So he would be like walk in and more independent, so I'd have more time to be like on site
Hmm.
with my clients. So kind of doing more makeup one-on-one classes, doing more so like the education stuff as well as like the online stuff. As far as like peer space, renting out studios for other creatives, just giving them a comfortable and flexible space to create at. I think that's always very nice to keep in like the same window and just bring in creatives that we all do the same thing. So we can also be a helping shoulder. Um, and music wise, I definitely would say I want to start posting more consistently. I feel like consistency is definitely key, especially with
Hmm.
music, just also different emotions flowing, but definitely just always giving, your viewers and your listeners something new and something fresh to kind of keep tabs. I feel like the YouTube will go well with the visuals on that part and just um, like tie that together. But 5 years from now, yeah, I would definitely still be in the city. I definitely don't plan on moving. If not, just traveling for work. As far as like doing makeup clients or just traveling for some more shows, I do want to start venturing to different places to reach different audiences. So that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Just getting myself racked up on the songs so I can start performing them. Because I don't want to perform all the old stuff. I'm over it. So just kind of, getting the new lineup in and then start getting myself on the lineup.
Yeah, gotcha. Where and now, sort of like you know, once you reach these goals, what do you hope that like listeners, customers, supporters, or just people take away from your journey or what you've left behind?
Definitely that uh, being a giver or like giving flowers from your garden doesn't always mean that, your garden is dry. Like, I feel like God will always make sure that you are fruitful and that you are equipped um, for always helping your neighbor. Like, I feel like that's big for me as a community. And
Mhm.
just leaving a mark, I feel like that actually shows it's like, who are you leaving your mark to, good or bad? Kind of just um, going hard for your community. Speaking for your community and the music aspects, kind of making a Fifth Amendment make some noise, but I feel like um, in every season, just being yourself, no matter how hard it is, like sad, happy, and understanding that anything is possible realistically. Because, like I said before, with like the goals, like for success for me, it was just to do all the things that I wanted to do, and I've done the majority of the things that I thought I wanted to do when I was younger. So also just keep making new goals. Don't feel too comfortable and content. Just always keep seeking more for yourself, and never stop finding yourself. Um, I feel like those are some main points. Let's just keep going and be you. I don't know if that's too like cliche, but it's real. It's real tea. It's
No,
really real.
yeah, I 100%. Okay. I'm gonna ask you one more, somewhat not controversial, but I would love to know your opinion on this. Do you believe that artificial intelligence should be or can be used in music, or is that disingenuous to the art form? Because for me, I feel like people could have trouble with this one because maybe they hear a song out in public and then they find out later that it's artificial intelligence, but they actually enjoyed the song. Or is that from an artist's perspective like yourself, is that disingenuous to real artists who are creating authentic material?
Overall, I would say it is kind of like knocking the real arts, the real hustle, and the real like time. I would say more so as far as if you're like an individual artist and it's not like, oh, like it's just, hey, Siri has a whole bunch of songs that she thought of and do do do. That's
Hmm.
different. Like if you were saying if somebody heard it and is mad that it's like, oh, not a real person or AI. I feel like music wise, I don't think it's best because it's supposed to make people feel things. It's supposed to really give a one two beat. I think it would be dope to use like an AI if you're still generating the majority of the idea. If you're
Hmm.
generating like if it can help you produce something, great. But I don't think that it should take most of the prompting, the more idea wise, or a lot of the core to the project. I feel like it's great that you can get some extra hands, extra advice faster, production. But I don't think it should be doing too much in the music industry because we got it on lock. It's already oversaturated for one, and two, we going crazy. Like the AI
Yeah.
is going to wrap it up. It's going to brain fry.
Hmm. That's actually that's a great answer, and you said something that I think is important. Like artists intend to make music based off human emotion, and
Mm-hmm.
if artificial intelligence can't use that element, it's not a human, doesn't have human emotions to share, and
Mm-hmm.
so you're taking out the element of a human connecting to a human. So I think that's a great point that you made.
That's facts. Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's just hit a couple of rapid fire questions, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Okay. First one, who is your favorite artist right now?
No, I'm playing. No, really. I feel like my back-to-back playlist has just been Janae because throughout the day
Mhm.
I some cool little smooth vibe. As far as like, oh yeah, play that when I'm in like my girl vibe. There is a upcoming artist named Journey from New York. She's raw.
Mhm.
Um, and I know I can't say one. I know you asked me for one, but I'm gonna give like a top three.
Okay.
And I would say Future.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, Future and Don't Miss. He's like literally immortal. Like what the hell?
It's timeless.
Yes, exactly.
What's a beauty product that you can't live without?
A beauty product I can't live without. It's actually a new product coming soon on my line, but
Mhm.
I guess I'll give a little sneak peek. But some brow gel. I can't live without the brow gel. Like, uh, brows whack it. Like, I don't even have to do my eyebrows today if they're combed right. Like, some brow gel for sure.
Gotcha. Do you prefer being in a studio session working on music or at a photo shoot?
It divides my personalities and mood because studio is more like, okay, I'm chilling, I'm in my feelings, I don't really want to be seen, like no paparazzi. But then when
Mhm.
I'm on a photo shoot and I'm feeling myself and I got my fit on and I'm like just in that esque, I want to be shooting some pictures. I want them to catch the drip. Like,
Yeah.
it's two different vibes. But between the two, I would say probably making some music, but that's only if I haven't had a raw fit on in a minute. But
Yeah.
it gotta load up. But once I put a raw fit on, then okay, I can chill. I can sit down,
Mhm.
get my music out the way. Not too much on them all the time. Yeah, probably in the studio. I'm not gonna lie, chilling, eating some food.
Mhm.
So
I got
studio.
that. What would you say is one thing that people don't know about you?
Then I'm really just a chill girl. I'm actually pretty funny.
Hmm.
Like, I know it's not getting funny right now, but I
No, I
definitely
don't know. I don't know about that.
definitely a jokester. If I didn't do music or have all this going on, I'd probably want to be a comedian. I don't know. I probably shouldn't quit the day job already, but yeah, I like to make people laugh and myself laugh. Mhm.
Yeah. And then being that this is ambitious entertainment, I have to ask this question. What does ambition mean to you?
Ambition. I feel like ambition is literally that umph in your chest to like go get it. Like, the hustle. Ambitious is to also express that and not be like shy about it. I
Hmm.
feel like there's people that really want to do something and they'll kind of just quietly focus on it. I feel like somebody ambitious is gonna make loud music, colors, painting as they walk towards their journey. I feel like ambitious is just like you can taste that on somebody. It's flavorful. But yeah, ambitious
Gotcha.
is your go-getting person.
Yep. Okay, that is all we have today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Before,
having.
yeah, before we wrap up, though, please share with everyone any projects or anything you have upcoming and where they can find you, where they can follow you. Go ahead.
Yes, so definitely follow me on Instagram, YouTube. Those are, I feel like, my main two right now. At K Bougie, KAYYBOUJE, two E's. And then projects I have coming up, I do have a song release coming, and it's called Waistline. I can tell you that, so it might give you a little taste on the vibes.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be streaming all platforms, and then a visual will be dropping on my YouTube. So that's gonna be real spicy. But I definitely appreciate the ears and all the kind questions. Those are really dope,
Mhm.
and I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us for the interview. Thank you to everybody in the crowd for watching. Please do check out that new song and the visual. We're looking forward to that. This has been Ambitious Entertainment.